Welcome back to the Silver and Black Radio Podcast, your go-to source for everything on the Las Vegas Raiders. Whether you're a diehard motherfucker like me, or just getting to know Raider Nation, our passionate hosts are here to bring you all the excitement on Raiders football. I'm Shit Show Joe, and welcome to the Silver and Black Radio Podcast. Let's go, Raiders! If not, fuck your team.
And welcome back to the Silver and Black Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Raider Wil, and I am here with the man that needs no introduction, the kid. The Cisco Kid, baby.
What's going on, my man? How are you?
Good, brother. Thank you for taking another night. Thank you for chopping it up with us, man.
Always.
Yo. Big time news coming out for Raider Nation yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I think we'll call this the first strike for Tom Brady in the Tom Brady era. You know, there was a lot of hype coming out that Ben Johnson had taken the interview with the Raiders, Cisco. A lot of reporters coming out saying, hey, this guy is a lock for the Raiders. And then it comes down to Monday where we get a straight right hook and the Chicago Bears have Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Thoughts, my brother?
That was a shocker, man. I will have to say, you know, I didn't think the cat was in the bag, but I was shocked that so quickly he signed with the Bears. So obviously there was something in the mix. I did hear some rumblings about wanting to work with the young quarterback and, you know, stuff like that. I think, man, I don't know. I mean, who was the sports guy? Was it Adam Schefter, that was kind of trying to steer him away from the job with the Raiders, or one of those?
Man, I think it was every single one of them.
It might have been.
Except for the Raiders beat writers.
Yeah.
I'm like, it looked like Adam Schefter. I think Josina Anderson was the one that broke the news on X. And I mean, like, but she had pretty much also said all along that, hey, she didn't see Ben coming this way. She thought actually Jacksonville was going to be a better situation. But Go ahead, Cisco. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, man, it was a little bit of a shocker, you know, so quick, you know, without like a second interview or what would you say, a face-to-face. You know, I thought he would at least give us that. But you know, hey, it is what it is. I guess now that leads us to, you know, possibly Pete Carroll, which I was kind of more leaning towards just because of the experience. Being a Super Bowl winning and losing coach. He knows how to win. You know, he's got a proven track record. You know, he's always put a good team of assistants together that at least that I could tell. So I was more hoping that he would be the guy, and at the same time, because of his age, start mentoring a guy, a part of his staff that would be like, hey, man, I'm grooming you to kind of take over, you know, when I go, whenever that time is. Because obviously we know they're not going to throw a 10-year contract at Carroll. So, you know, so we know what we're dealing with here. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. Because again, I think, you know, I mean, there's a lot of young talent out there, some acute minds that I know probably got some great schemes and whatnot to bring to the table. But as far as experience, and again, like I said, you know, our division is stacked with Super Bowl coaches, so we need to get on that team too, and get on that wagon and get us a former winning Super Bowl coach to match these guys. So with that, you know, being said, you know, Salah, I would love to get that guy. Keep paying the big money. We got it. You know, we got to go all in. So, and not just on one person, you know, whether it's a coach or one player. I mean, go all in on the coach. It doesn't affect our salary cap. So go get him. pay him what he needs, and get him. I think he's a great defensive-minded coordinator. And then as far as GM, man, I'm still kind of up in the air. Brady's got ties to his guy in Tampa, which Brady's here. He's an owner. He wants to build a winning franchise, right? He doesn't want to be a part of a losing company or anything like that. So I really think that he's going to make the right moves or help make the right moves. Whether he's influencing Mark or Mark's influencing him, who knows? But we just got to get it right, man. We've been in this drought for quite some time, and we got to get out of it. So, let's just hope the the pennies fall where they will, and we end up striking gold. So yeah, let's see, man. We'll wait and see.
You're not lying, brother. Well, Monday morning game, man, and I mean like we said, straight right hook, straight like down the pipe strike. It's like you said, Ben Johnson comes in, goes and just takes the meeting and already has the job. I think a lot of people were hyped up, but here was my thing. He never took the interview with the Raiders until Tom Brady asked him to. So that means he really didn't have any interest in coming to coach our team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yes, if you look at the task that the Raiders are right now, it's a bigger task than it is to go and coach in the NFC North. Then the Chicago Bears have the picks and they have the quarterback. They have, a decent offensive line.
Yeah.
Guys, it doesn't take simple math. It doesn't have these coaches that are experienced at Super Bowl winning.
Yep.
You said a lot of key things. It doesn't have this freaking the Broncos. It doesn't have the Chargers. It doesn't have Andy Reid with the Chiefs. Harbaugh is with the Chargers, and then you have Sean Payton with the Broncos.
Yeah.
And coming into this situation for him, I'm like, that's a tough situation.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I think is this. Raider Nation, this is a gift in disguise. Yeah. I'm like, it came in early enough that we're able to select another coach that is quality. I mean, I still think we need to bring in a lot of coaches to interview. I think this brought Brady back. I really think that I was shocked that we didn't ask for more interviews yet. I was shocked that there hasn't been this thing. There might be already a thought that Pete Carroll has it locked. But again, guys, we thought Ben Johnson was a lock. Everybody kept saying Ben Johnson is a lock. He's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people in play. I think Leon Cohn, the offensive coordinator out of Tampa, is in play, but we haven't requested him to interview. But I think there's going to be a plan. And here was my biggest concern with Ben Johnson, is that he's inexperienced. That him as a head coach, he doesn't have that. And then to bring in a rookie GM with him as well, I mean, it's a difficult situation. I like what you're saying here. I mean, the one thing people tell me is, Pete Carroll's old. Well, it doesn't mean he can't coach. It doesn't mean that he can't groom. Here's the key factors that we always talk about.
He's not out there running drills with the players. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's walking the sidelines, walking the field with a whistle, or a megaphone.
I mean, you see video of this guy, I'll be like, he's up and down the field, running up and down, and enjoying life.
And he doesn't even look 74.
No. And I mean, you're not lying. He doesn't, man. I mean, life's done that man good. But what I'm telling you is like this, man. He has experience. He can come in, change the Raiders' culture.
Yeah.
Change the way we think. Change the way we do things. Bring in, like you said, that guy underneath his wing. Yeah. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, his offensive coordinator there. Yes, Shane Waldron wasn't a really good coordinator. He struggled with him.
Right.
But Brian Schottenheimer, he was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Then they had Bevel. He was pretty decent. Won a Super Bowl, I think, with Bevel. So, again, we got to be honest with each other and be like, hey, man, in this situation,
His
Pete
dad,
Carroll's
though,
not plan B.
it just came to mind. Schottenheimer's dad may talk him out of the game, the gig.
Hey, and you know what? He might. I mean, like, he has an interview in Dallas. I mean, like, I know that he was Mike McCarthy's offensive coordinator, and Jerry Jones might give him a chance.
Yeah.
But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, and then we don't even know who Pete Carroll's going to bring in.
Yeah.
We don't know, but it's going to be a quality piece. And if you bring in Spytek from the Buccaneers, or
Yeah.
you bring, they're saying the guy from the Washington Commanders isn't going to leave the Jets. So even if he's off the table, you still got your main guy. You still got Ed Dobbs. You still got an in-house hire with Chad Kelly, if you want. I'll be like, you still have quality pieces out there that can make this work.
Right.
Now, will they align with Tom Brady's vision? I don't know. But I think it's like you said, you have to believe in the guy you're getting. And right now, in my opinion, the guy that can rally Raider Nation and rally a team and change the culture and make that team better is Pete Carroll. There's nothing that nobody can say about his coaching or about anything.
Yeah.
I haven't really ever heard any negative talk about him as like, oh, he's a hard ass. He's he's stubborn. Or that players don't like him. So I honestly feel like at this point that is a perfect fit. It just, is it going to mesh with everything else? Is it going to align with Brady's vision? That could be it too. Maybe those two clash for whatever reason. Who knows? Who knows?
Absolutely. And I mean, like, this is where, we're just speculating and, it's just like everybody else. But at the same time, I'm like, what we're looking is this guy has a really good reputation. This guy has a really good proven track record. I'm going to give you some stats. He's won 60% of his games.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, another fact here.
Yeah.
He went to the playoff 10 out of 14 years in the league when he was coaching.
There you go.
Enough said. Enough said. I mean, really. I mean, and whether it was because he's a minority, part of the Rooney Rule, who knows? But when I heard Ron Rivera's name, I was like, huh? He doesn't even have a winning record. I mean, I think he's got like 107. I mean, it's close. I mean, he's barely missing
I'll
the
tell you right now.
500 mark. I think he's like 107 losses and like 105 or 104 wins, something like that.
All right, hold on here. Ron Rivera. Let me see here. I'm looking him up right now. Career. All right, here. Let's see here. Does it say wins loss? Okay, head coaching. He's 102 and 103 and 2. In the postseason, he's 3-5. So there you go. I mean,
He's
like, he has a
average.
record by
He's
what?
average.
Like, yeah, he's about 50-50.
Yeah, he's average. So we don't need an average coach. We don't.
And I mean, like, do you really think he's gonna come and change the culture? Ron
No.
Rivera, I don't see him on that type.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying any of that, but he's average, and we don't need average.
If Tom Brady didn't have any rings, what would he be?
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's just.
I mean, he's got money. He's got money. He may be an owner, but he wouldn't have the Mark Davis wouldn't be giving him the reins to be like, look, I really want your input. I want you in all these meetings. I want you, front and center. Yeah, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't be.
So I'm just gonna tell you like this: what he is without rings is a regular guy like me and you, because he wouldn't be in the league. He ran like a 5.4 40.
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, athletically, I'd be like, he looks like a scarecrow.
Yeah, he looked dopey. Yeah.
He didn't look like an athlete.
Mm-mm.
But because he got 7 rings, that man can walk in any room right now and say,
Oh.
hey, I know a little bit of something what I'm talking about here.
Mhm. Mhm.
What can Pete Carroll do? He can
Mhm.
come in, he has a ring, and says, hey, I know what it takes to get one of these.
Yep.
Do you want to go get one?
Mhm.
I love Ben Johnson. I think he was a great coordinator. I think he made a
Mhm.
lot of great moves. I think he made some bad play calls as well, especially in this
Mhm.
last game.
Yeah.
But he
Mhm.
couldn't come in and flash a ring and say, hey, man, I know what it takes to get there
Yep.
because he hasn't been there.
Mhm. Exactly. Yep. I saw a report I thought was kind of stupid. It said we may have dodged a bullet, and it said Tom Brady didn't care for the play calling that he did in the game. I'm like, him signing with the Bears happened too quickly. You know, I mean, what was it? Less than 24 hours.
Did it
So
happen like over the week?
I mean, so I'm like, no. I mean, it might be true, but I don't think that's why he didn't get a call back from the Raiders or something like that, where he said, "Well, fuck it, I'm going to go sign with the Bears." Yeah, no,
that
yeah,
when
no,
to me
no. I
it's
don't
this,
believe that at
man.
all.
Hey, to me it's this. He had a plan already. He
Yeah,
took the interview with us just out of straight respect for Tom Brady.
yeah,
He's like, you know
exactly.
what? I'm
Yeah,
gonna. This guy's Tom Brady.
yeah,
I want to see what he's about.
and that would have been burning a bridge if he would have
Yeah,
refused the interview.
exactly. So
Yeah,
he took, and then because that happened, immediately everybody was saying, well, Tom Brady put on the charm. Tom Brady did this. Bro, Tom Brady can talk all he wants and he can show and say, but it is what it is. When you look at our team, this task, bro, you gotta have, I'm gonna say it like this, you gotta have a donkey dick with elephant balls.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
This is a dude with some
yeah.
big cojones that has to come in here
Yep.
and take this job by the balls.
Yeah.
But because I mean, like, we are a team that needs several pieces, that
Yeah.
has several pieces, but
Hmm.
we just don't need to change things. We need to change
Yeah.
the culture. We need to
Right.
change the way we do things, the way we operate. And once things like that start happening within an organization, and again, that's why I said it takes about 3 years for a coach to really put their stamp on there. And guess what? I think he would be young enough at that time to still be able to like motivate this team and get them going. To
Yeah.
put him at what? You said he's 73?
He'll be 74 by the time the
Or
season starts.
so he'd be 77.
Yeah.
And like you said, you have your young protege
Yeah.
underneath the wing, grooming him for 2 or 3 years. Year 4, you can slowly start making the changeover where the guy
Right.
becomes the assistant head coach.
Yeah.
In year 5, one of them steps back.
Yeah.
And he could
Yep.
be like, hey, I step back,
Hmm.
and we'll co-head coach it until my contract is up.
Yeah.
And then the other
And
guy
then who
takes over.
knows? Maybe, I mean, if he does turn us around, another option too would be just like Tom Coughlin. All right, now just become like a consultant. You're still there hanging around, but you don't have the pressure. You don't have the obligations of being the first one there at the headquarters in the team meetings. Leaving last. You know, um, he could kind of just come and go as needed. Observe, give his opinion, and be there for any questions that are needed. You know, um,
Absolutely. I think
yeah,
that's a great move. Like almost like, and also like a GM.
hmm,
There's something that Pete Carroll does well is
yeah,
he gets quality players
yep,
and he can recognize talent.
yeah, hmm,
And let me ask you this. So there's a lot of other rumors, and this guy's been seen a lot in I think he got seen at the Las Vegas airport Somebody snapped a picture of him.
Ooh,
What do
I
you
may have
think
missed
about
that.
Gruden 3.0?
Oh, well, he's a Raider. It did kind of piss me off seeing that Kansas City hat on him in that podcast or whatever he does for that guy. Um, and honestly, I would be fine with it. I would be fine with it. Now that well, after the fact, after the reports of the emails and stuff, because I was actually pretty pissed off because that went against everything that the Raiders were, what Al Davis implemented and made this team. He didn't care what color you were, what creed you were, what gender you were. Um, I mean, his approach to everything when it came to color lines, there was none, and I think that's a lot of where people say, oh yeah, Al just wore black and white because he was colorblind. I think a lot of that came to that because he didn't care what you were as long as you could play football and you were
Yeah,
loyal. So I was like, that really kind of pissed me off. But then later when they said, oh, it was like 10 years ago and, or 11 years ago, and he wasn't even a coach. And then you're like, okay, well, my thing was, okay, well, who was he talking to? How come those emails aren't being posted? He's obviously talking to somebody. He's not talking to himself. Like, why is it just Gruden's emails? How come they're not reading what was reciprocated by the person receiving these emails? And just like me, just like you and I'm going to talk to you in a way that we know how each other vibe and talk, you know, and if you talk and you don't mean it that way, but you're like the reference to the tires and the lips and the one coach or whoever it was in the NFL, I don't even remember. I mean, I got a lot of brothers that are friends of mine, and some that one guy called me my brother, and he said, "Man, if you want to use that word, use that word. I don't give a shit because you're my brother and you one of us." you know, you just gotta get accustomed. You just flow like that. You know what I mean? So it was it taken out of context, probably. You know, so on the other side of that, um, I think I kind of forgave him, for that because of the things really did come out that I just mentioned. But the other end of it, I mean, we I know it was only 3 games, but those 3 games we beat 3 playoff teams coming off of a crappy record. So, I think, and again, just as we talk, it takes a couple years to build your beast. And I think we were on the cusp of building that beast, or that might have been our beast, you know, um, coming coming off of the Versace, and I think that kind of really helped the team to move in the right direction. I think because of all of what they had to go through with Ruggs and all these other things that happened in that season, they came together. Um, so I think I would be fine with actually with Gruden 3.0. I honestly I would because one, he loves this team. Um, and I think he's the right guy to get the culture back. I do. Um, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind it.
I think about it, and when I think about John Gruden, I think about a coach that represents the Raiders to a T. A guy that is shrewd, a guy that is he's made mistakes. I'll be
Who
like, we're
hasn't?
not all yeah, we're all not perfect. And whatever you say in an email, let's be real. There are some people that, they say those emails and they send texts like that on a daily basis, right? It's just this was just magnified because of who he is. Um, the thing that scares me with Gruden is that he's been notoriously bad at drafting. And this is where,
True. Yeah,
uh,
I'll agree with you on that. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a very good point.
like he's just notoriously bad with his teams at drafting.
Mhm.
So, and the power that he requires, like, I don't know if he would sit back and say, hey, let the GM draft and you coach. Just coach. And we're going to get you the players.
Yeah.
Now, if he was to come back and say that, I think he's still under contract. I don't know
He's still
whether.
getting paid. It was 100. It was 10 years, $100 million. Yeah,
Yes.
he's still
So,
getting paid. So
so
there'd be a way to save us some money. Yes.
I mean, like,
Well, not save us money, but save the team money.
they save the
You
team
know.
money. I mean,
Yeah.
like, now,
I mean, I would. I mean, just take the money part of it off the table. I honestly, I would. I
like,
mean, if reports came out tomorrow and Jon Gruden's in the building, or Jon Gruden was seen leaving the building with his agent, I would be okay. I would. I would.
it would be very interesting. I know that, like I said, a lot of Raider Nation would think about, the drafting and everything like that, him and Mahon. But what I think is this, again, if that situation came down, Tom Brady at the end of the day would have the final say. And I think even if Gruden was there, I think he has enough respect for Brady
Yeah.
that he would be like, hey, you know what, bro? Like,
Mhm.
I may have one ring, but you got 7 of those motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And then
So,
I think the whole thing too with the obviously he was a part of the Tuck rule. Brady was the quarterback. I think they would probably gel together just because of that history, and with Woodson still being a part of the team with not just his bourbon, but just being a face of that. I mean, he's on the jumbotron at the game. I mean, he's the last image when they play the hype video, so I think just having that whole tie together would be cool. I know he was a Niner, but he's still a Bay Area guy. He knows about the Raider tradition. Being living on the other side of the Bay, growing up. I mean, he knows the culture. He knows the rivalry. He knows the whole mix of Niner Raider. So I think it would probably be a good fit. I do.
how crazy would that be, man? The
Yeah.
guy that got the tuck rule called against us, the guy that was coaching in that game, playing in that game, and the guy that caused the fumble, because it was a
Mhm.
fumble,
Oh yeah.
that caused the fumble, still
Hmm.
representing the team, trying to win a championship for that team. Hey,
Hmm.
man, that could be a wild combination.
That would
I
that
like
would
what
be
you
that
said.
would definitely if fingers crossed, the stars align, all that good stuff. My rabbit foot, whatever, 4-leaf clover, maybe all, Um, if if he were to assemble that group and win us a Super Bowl, that would have to be an ESPN 30 for 30 segment. It would have to be,
Yeah,
you know.
the tuck rule full circle.
Right, right.
Like
Well,
literally 30 for 30.
yeah.
What a whole thought process. All right, man. Well, let's
Mm.
get on to it, man. Let's get on to our next segment here. Hey, our next segment, man. Cisco, what I want you to do is tell us what it was the moment that the silver and black made the Cisco Kid into a lifelong fan.
Man, that's got to go with. I got to say, my brother and my dad. I was kind of born in it. You may have seen me post that picture, uh, on social media, me looking up at Santa Claus, and I'm wearing an Oakland Raider little hoodie. a little, no, it wasn't a hoodie. It was a sweatshirt. Actually, it didn't have a hood. And I'm like 1 year old. I'm like looking up at at Saint Nick. You know, I was bred into it, man. I was bred into it, and I think as I got older, I just got to really know what the team was about, what Al does, what I just talked about. No color lines with him. He didn't care. Um, Knowing that, which, if you're Latin, you always get the names of Tom Flores and Jim Plunkett and Max Montoya, all the greats that wore the silver and black. You're just like, wow, those two guys, came from what they came from, being the first, Hispanic quarterback, the first Hispanic head coach, winning a Super Bowl, winning two Super Bowls, Plunkett being, having a not great career until he puts on the silver and black. I mean, they called him a bust in New England, and he goes to the Niners and didn't really have a great run there as well. And then all of a sudden, boom, for some, whatever came over that man's body, all of a sudden now he's just like a great Super Bowl winning, two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. So just the story, just the story, knowing that, they were originally called the Seniors, they're blue collar, and then a kid, being a kid. I mean, I was always rooted for the villain, growing up in the 70s, Kiss was my favorite band back in the day, right? And they're looking evil with the spikes and all that stuff. So like just the whole silver and black and knowing that those guys were rough and they, assassin, the hitman. I mean, everybody had a name. Soul Patrol, everybody had a name, so it was crazy, just seeing my brother and my dad talk about them and watch the games. And I remember a story that my mom told me as I was growing up and going to Raider games or being, involved or glued to the TV. She was like, "Oh man, you're just like your dad." Oh, point to that thing, and she goes, "Yeah, I remember one of your birthdays. He wasn't even participating in your birthday because he was watching the Raider game." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And then later, I grew up to find out that it was the playoff game against Miami. It was the Sea of Hands game. It was my fourth birthday. I was 4 years old, and he wasn't participating in my birthday. He was locked to the TV watching the game. So, you know just yeah, man, just growing up. And then my mom telling me, "Oh yeah, we used to take you to the games when you were a baby. I'd be holding you and we'd be there at the game." And so I was just kind of born into it, just kind of born into it, really. And as I got older, I just started learning about the team and following the team. And yeah, man, it's been great. Got to meet a lot of great people, just as I'm talking to one right now, just within Raider Nation. It's just I've said this before. We are different. We're different. We for many years, and I think because we've been losing for some time, but I mean, there was a time in my life when I'd hear the autumn wind, put the autumn wind, and I have a ritual every morning when I get ready to go to the game or watch the game. If I'm driving to somebody's house and it's a away game, or I'm driving to a venue to watch the game, or I'm driving to uh, Allegiant Stadium, I play Raider songs, and the very first song I play is the Autumn Wind. And for a good part of my life, doing that, I'd get the chills. I just get the chills. So yeah, it's like I said, man, we're different.
No, absolutely, brother.
Mhm.
I get what you're saying, man. I have my
Mhm.
ritual as well. You got to get the right clothes. You got to get the right stuff. I mean, like, I wake
Mhm.
up in the morning, I have my coffee. I have to go outside. I yell out my Raiders to get me going, to get my day going on Sunday. I get what you're saying, man. Now, let me ask this, Cisco. Tell me about the first time that you went to a Raiders game and the experience you had.
Wow. Well, I don't remember who we played, but I was, when I got to be like an adult, I guess you should say, um, I was 17 and
Okay.
went to a game, with no, I'm sorry. I was 18. I was 18 and I went with my buddies and they were older. They were older than me. Most of that crew was, 4 years older than me. And my one buddy Anthony, who is one of my best friends, who, yeah, our season tickets were next to each other for the whole time we were in Oakland. And I got picked to go to the Super Bowl, so he was my other ticket. We had that ritual. Okay, if you get picked, you're taking me. If I get picked, then I'm taking you, type of thing.
Yeah.
And so he let me, and they would go to trips. They would go to LA all the time, and I would hear the stories and stuff. And I was like, man, I wish I could go and, just say stuff like that. And he's like, hey, bro, you going to go with us? And I was like, what? Like, he was like, what? You're offered, I can go, and he was like, of course I didn't say it like that. I was like, to the game, I'm trying to play it off and be cool. What to the Raider game? He's like, yeah, bro, you going to go with us this time? And I'm like, yeah, I could swing that. Yeah. Again, played it off. And the other guys were like, oh man, this dude, because again, that was like the era, right? When NWA and everybody's wearing Raider gear. So those guys just thought it was a front, like, because I was a young guy and I was just wearing it to be cool. And he goes, and they tried to like say, no, he can't go. He's not a real Raider fan. So where this one guy, his name's Philip, he is kind of like the Raiders encyclopedia, kind of, sort of. And he's like, "Oh, you're a Raider fan?" I said, "Yeah." And so he started quizzing me, started throwing names out. Oh, where'd he play? Or who's this? And who's that? And I was naming everything. And then my boy goes, "See, motherfucker, he's a Raider fan," and pushed him and said, "Bro, you're going." And so I just remember the whole trip, from our getting on the plane, uh, getting our rent a car, driving Friday night, driving to our hotel to check in, and I'm just like, wow, fuck, I'm going to a Raider game with these dudes. I was just like, wow, this is cool. Um, I remember scaring a lady next to us. She had a Raider sticker in her car, and my buddy starts honking the horn. And he's like, rolls down his window. He's all Raiders. And the lady freaked her out. Like, she had no idea it was because of the Raider sticker on her car, which is probably her husband, right? Or boyfriend
Yeah.
or whoever. And she just freaked the fuck out. She was just like, what? Like, what's going on? We're all wearing our Raider gear and stuff. It was, yeah, it was a trip, man. So I would have to say probably that. Uh, was probably one of my favorite moments is like going to LA for my first Raider game and walking through those long ass tunnels in the Coliseum in LA and just praying to God that an earthquake didn't hit because you'd be dead. So, but yeah, walking through that tunnel and then finally just seeing the stadium and the players on the field warming up, I was just like, wow, this is cool. And yeah, it was cool, man.
Eh, I understand that feeling 100%, man. I bet like I didn't get a chance to go to a Raiders home game until like I got older. And I mean like, you show up at the home game and you're like, man, I'm really here. You're flying in. You're like, oh dude, bro, like once you hit the stadium, you got all this rush. It's almost like you're in dream la la land for a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit.
Mm.
And I mean like it's
Mm.
crazy to think, I mean like I think now because Cisco, you're at man, you're at every event. I mean, like now that you do it every day, that you do it every Sunday, and you're there all the time, you almost forget about those moments that got you to be here.
Yeah.
Those that first time,
Yeah.
that one time that you see your buddy and you just look at him from across the way, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, that's the guy I met last time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah, I
or
got,
something like
some of the same, rituals that I had in Oakland is, I got to make sure I get in the game and I'm there for the national anthem. I gotta make. I mean, now I go a little earlier because I have to escort my little brother, Senor, into the game. So obviously, every 10 steps, somebody wants to take a picture. So we have to go in there a little early. But I remember in Oakland, man, going, oh shit, they're going to start the national anthem, and I'd run, up the ramp and get right out to the edge to make sure that I was there, with my hat off and saluting the flag, So yeah, I mean, I remember, I mean, so many memorable games, in Oakland. I only missed 3 home games in that 27 years that they were, came back home. So I got to see a lot of the memorable games from Tim Brown's 1,000 catch to, Fat Saragusa taking out Gannon. Obviously the most memorable one was beating the Tennessee Titans in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, of course the eyes got watery because I had never thought I'd ever probably see this, to be able to see my team playing a Super Bowl. It was
Oh,
crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, memorable.
bro, that's what it's about. I mean, like, that's what I love, honestly. Like, being a sports fan, being a Raiders fan, I mean, like, it's all about the memories. It's all about
Mm.
the things, the highs and the lows that you ride with the team and the people that are beside you during those
Oh yeah.
times, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Quite crazy.
Yep.
But all right, my brother. So, hey, let's get on to the next segment, in which in the next segment, guys, we're going to talk about, hey, the summer event we got going on, brother.
Yeah.
So, man, hey, guys, this thing started as a local community thing, and now it has definitely taken a life of its own.
Yeah.
Uh, Cisco, I'm going to let you let them know because you're master of ceremonies there, Big Boss. How?
Yeah. Yeah. No. It's going to be a good time, man. May 3rd, looking forward to it. We got several car clubs involved. It's going to be held in Richmond. I don't know if it's a private school, but it's
Elysian private. I think it's Elysian Preparatory School or something like that.
oh shoot, I know where that is. My little cousin went to that school. I know exactly what. Yeah, yeah, I know exactly where it is. Yeah. So wow, I just realized that after you said that name. That's true. So anyway, yeah, man. I mean, people are excited about it. It's really kind of taken off now. Like I said, car clubs are going to be there. We're going to have vendors there. My buddy Jeff with hot hats is going to be there. Oh man, I should have been rocking my hot hats right now, but I'll say that for the next show.
Next
But
week. Next
yeah,
week.
so
We got next week.
exactly, yeah. Rock that bad boy. Um, so yeah, man, we're gonna have a lot of vendors. Can't name them all right now off the top of my head, but all gonna be great vendors out there. We're bringing back our old school DJ that handled our tailgates and our events and our kickoff parties, Bumpa Beto, so he's excited about it. Um, we're going to try and, Senor is going to be in the house. Raider Goddess is going to be in the house. Raider Villa. Um, I'm sure Gorilla May, if his schedule's open, I'm sure he'll pop up and make an appearance if his schedule coincides. Yeah, maybe talk to Violator and Our Lady, see if they can make it up. But yeah, it's going to be a great event, man. Like I said, people are talking about it. I'm excited about it, and everybody involved, from you to Marlene to bartender Danny. Everybody's putting in some work on this, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really good time. I think we got like what 14 or 15 chapters members coming from Texas to the Pacific Northwest to you guys are coming down from Colorado. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. So I'm like I said, man, I'm really looking forward to it.
No, hey, absolutely, brother. Guys, and May the 3rd, North, what what we're calling Northern California, Northern Nevada
Yeah.
barbecue blackout. Guys,
Mhm.
this is their first annual one. It's just like Cisco said. It's 7 clubs from 5 from Northern California, 2 from Northern Nevada. You got Western Colorado coming out. You got Denver coming out. You got Dallas coming out. You got Austin coming out. You got what are the other? I'd be like San Antonio's coming out. I'd be
Yeah.
like, what you got? The Cisco Kid is coming up, so he's representing Las Vegas.
Well, I
I'd
gotta
be
come,
like,
man. That's home for me. So yeah, I definitely got to be there. Whether I was, master of ceremonies or not, I would have been there. So yeah.
hey, absolutely. And we got over 75 cars already signed up. Guys, the car show is to raise funds for the local football program there. So if you guys got a a car that you guys want to put in the show, make sure that you contact our girl Marlene, and she'll put you in the point of contact for the car show. So that way they can raise funds for the football program. Also, they will be doing a barbecue. The barbecue food is absolutely free with the ticket, but we do ask that you give a donation in order to make this a bigger and better event next year. Because that's what it's about. It's about getting family together. It's about us supporting the local community and doing something good and representing the Raiders in the right way, baby.
Yep. Exactly. Hit it right on the nose, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
So, we got anything else, Cisco?
Well, I'm hoping next week's show we'll be discussing our new head coach and the visions and the coaches that he's going to be assembling to take us to the promised land after all these years. That's what I'm hoping our discussion will be, but we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, man, I love the way you're thinking. I love the positivity that you got going on with the promised land,
Mhm.
but I will leave it at this. I am just happy this year that we are doing our due diligence, and Raider Nation, be patient.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good things that can come from being patient. Things
Mhm.
sometimes don't happen for a reason.
Yep.
Stay positive, keep out there, show all love and respect to all, and it's all about one nation. It's all about
Exactly.
one team. It's all
Yep.
about the
Raiders.
Raiders.